Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lauren Fix. We are at a secret location in order to show you the 2023 Honda CRV. Now this has been the best-selling crossover since 1997, and it outsells most SUVs because this vehicle offers a lot of value, and people love the fact that Honda has great resale value. There are some changes for 2023, and the biggest change is the engine. There are two engines. There's a gas engine that has a turbocharger, and then there's this new hybrid, which is a combination of electric and gas. So most of the time you're going to be driving on electric. It is not a plug-in. What it is the ability to switch between the two seamlessly, and the gasoline is very rarely used. The gasoline portion of the engine is only used in those circumstances where the electricity is not going to be as efficient. This is all computer calculated. This is a transition from gasoline-powered vehicles to hybrid-powered vehicles, or eventually to electric cars. So you'll be driving on electric when you're driving around in a parking lot. When you're up on the highway, it'll be an electric motor, but when you're in certain areas going down hills or whatever, you might be using the gas motor. We'll take a look under the hood in just a minute. I want to show you some changes as far as visually on the exterior. You've got a bigger piece of glass on the front and a longer hood. This vehicle is about 1.5 inches longer. It is lower, it is wider, and there is more space, not just in the second row, but also in the cargo area. And that's both in the gas, of course, as in the hybrid. So we're showing you the hybrid because we want to show you the major differences, which would be on the Sport Touring. There's also a Sport. There's two other trim levels, and all-wheel drive is optional on the lower trim levels. On the higher trim levels, it's standard. So you can get that all-wheel drive. It is not super handling all-wheel drive. It is all-wheel drive with a new system that is better balanced. The one thing you'll note right away is that you've got these new LED headlights, and these are all LEDs, as well as the DRLs, the daytime running lights. You got a new grille across the front, and of course all your safety features are hiding behind this gigantic Honda logo. You'll note that this is more rugged, it is more sophisticated looking, but one of the things they did is on the Sport Touring, you'll note that they put the chrome trim around some of the details on the front. It's mostly visual, but it does make the vehicle look more sporty. The lower trim levels ride on 18-inch alloy wheels. These are 19-inch and they're black. Also, black is optional on the Sport trim level. You'll also note that the hybrid vehicle runs on Michelin Primacy tires, which gives a quieter ride. It's a really good tire as well. The Sport and the Sport Touring trim levels offer black roof rails as well. And you'll also notice that there is no key here. The key is underneath the handle just in case you have a problem, but they made it nice and smooth, nice and clean. A lot of little details that you might not notice when you're looking at this vehicle. Overall, the vehicle is longer, as you can see. The Sport and the Sport Touring have more blacked out details, where the lower trim levels, such as the EX and EXL, have more chrome. When you come around to the back of the new CRV, you'll see this body color upper wing. You'll notice that it's got the CRV and the hybrid logo here, and the Sport logo is black, just to make it a little sportier, and it's Sport Touring, which is in chrome, and you've got your chrome tailpipes as well. Honda's making this vehicle more sporty, more rugged, and more sophisticated. Inside the new CRV, you'll see some changes such as the honeycomb grille that you've seen across the other vehicles in the lineup, in addition to the orange stitching, which you'll see here, and the leather interior. Standard is a 7-inch touchscreen, and the optional is the 9-inch, which is in the Touring and the Sport Touring. You can see some of the changes for 2023. We'll have a chance to do a full review coming up in the near future of the hybrid. You can see that orange stitching, and there is a sport mode in those drive modes that is only in the Sport and Sport Touring. And that's new for CRV. Jumping into the second row, there is more legroom. I have this seat set for me. I am 5'8". There is a ton more room, and this is great if you have child safety seats. There's a position for 2 latch systems, which is excellent. Put the center armrest down. It's nicely tapered. 2 cup holders. The seat also reclines about 10 degrees of recline, which is nice, especially for those child safety seats, because you want that clearance, which is important. There's 1 pocket behind the passenger seat. You've got vents here, as well as storage in the door. Pretty basic back here. If you look at the price point of this vehicle, you'll see why it's the best-selling crossover since 1997. Under the hood of the gasoline-powered vehicle is no changes for this year, but the hybrid motor has 204 horsepower and 247 pound-feet of torque with a 2-liter Atkinson engine. One of the things that you notice right away is the gigantic new windshield that's in this vehicle. And what that does is it gives you better visibility. Not just the fact that you have a backup camera, but the ability to see the road clearer. The hood is slightly longer, but you don't notice that because of the size of the glass, which I think is really important to see what's going on around you. One of the things to note is on these side view mirrors. When you put the vehicle into reverse, you can see that on the side of the door, there is a body line. That body line allows you to line up with a parking spot, because in Japan, they typically back into their parking spots. So that is really nice to have. And of course, you got these different abilities to see what's going on around you. Nice, clear, crystal clear camera. That's all important. Now, let's get into the drive modes and see what's going on here. Starting with the drive modes, there is a new drive mode on this vehicle. There is normal. There's eco, it makes noise. There is snow, which is new. And you have a new all-wheel drive system that is a 50-50 balance, so that you're going to get better traction when the weather is really bad. There's also hill descent, which we are not experiencing today, as we've been told, but there is hill descent on this vehicle, and that is something that's also new. Of course, you've got your park hold and your ability to do that auto off. Get rid of that right away as far as I'm concerned. But you'll note right away that this vehicle is longer. It has better handling. As you go into the corners, you can really feel the grip has improved on this car. Not that it was bad, but this is a much better handling vehicle than the previous generation. And I think that's really important because people don't think about that when they go to purchase a CRV. Driving it like a racetrack. Got an entry, apex, exit. Anyway, as far as this vehicle's handling, I like how tight feeling the steering wheel is. It's a really nice grippy steering wheel. The gauges are right in front of you, easy to read. And again, that big piece of glass really makes a difference. You'll notice the new honeycomb grille that started on the Civic has also been carried here into the CRV. And I think that's an important part as well. All the safety is standard because this is the Honda Safety Suite. And those are important features. I am surprised that they have not added in that lane watch they used to have. So when you put on your turn signal on the right side, in the older Civics, there used to be a lane watch where that gauge would turn into, which it's not doing, you put on your turn signal, and it would turn that right gauge into a lane watch, or you could see it in the rearview mirror. It just depended, which vehicle and which trim level. But that was one of the things I think was really important that people were thinking about safety, and they haven't added that back in. I know Hyundai and Kia have that standard, so it's important to keep that in mind. Brakes are nice and firm and very confident, and I think that's also really important. There is no sport mode. There is normal, eco, and snow. Normal, foot to the floor. It's going to be equivalent for vehicles in this category that are crossovers, that are family vehicles that get you from place to place. And I think that's really important because people don't think about that. I know a lot of people talk about 0 to 60 times. It's really not that important when you're talking about a crossover. It's much more important when you're talking about a sports car. And then you'd be looking at a Civic Type R or something else. There's a lot of cars in that category. But I think it's important to note the reason this is one of the best-selling vehicles, this vehicle gives you a lot of capability. It gives you a lot of features that people ask for, and the price is always reasonable. Now, we don't have all the pricing and all that yet. There's a lot of information that we will be getting very soon, and that'll be in a separate review. We'll do a full review of the vehicle. Right now, we're just giving you the drive impression so that you have a feel for what to expect. There are 2 engines that are going to be available. We are currently driving the gasoline-powered vehicle. We do not have the hybrid available to us. We'll be getting that delivered to us soon, probably in the next few months. We're going to be able to do a full review on how this vehicle handles, because that is going to be an important factor, as well as performance. We're in the 190-ish horsepower rating, and the reason I give you the ish is because that's what I got from one of the internals. And we get this information because we get early access to these vehicles, and we want to get it to you as soon as possible because dealers are placing orders already. They know they're coming in. They're going to get the gas-powered vehicles first. Hybrid vehicles will be coming in probably into 2023 or later on in 2022, all based on that chip shortage that we're all well aware of. So there's a lot of features and things that we're going to be getting more time with, but right now we got an hour with this vehicle, so I want to give you as much experience with it as possible. When it comes to the center screen, standard 7-inch center screen, you can get a 9-inch HD screen, which is what we have in our test vehicle. And you'll note that a lot of these features are what you're used to seeing when it comes to the CRV, and that gives people a lot of confidence when you're switching from an older generation to a newer generation. The new CRV is definitely more rugged and sophisticated, as well as more room, because that's what people need, is to bring more stuff, kids, family, whatever it is you're doing with your life, being able to bring things places. The CRV has off-road capabilities as well, and that is really nice that this is really not meant to be an off-road vehicle, but if you're going to a campsite or you got to drive some dirt roads, you will definitely have that confidence, as well as in the winter with the new snow mode. There's more storage space in the back of the CRV. 39.3 cubic feet of storage behind that 60-40 split rear seat backs. Fold those seats flat and you've got 76.5 cubic feet of storage, which is certainly more than that of its predecessor. When it comes to safety, standard is the Honda sensing system with new wide view camera and radar, plus new traffic jam assist, low speed braking control, traffic sign recognition, and so much more, as well as even more airbags. Pricing has not been released on the 2023 Honda CRV, but we can tell you that there are some massive improvements. We'll talk about ride and handling when the embargo lifts, but in the meantime, if you have any additional questions, put them down in the comments down below. If you have a CRV coming in, note that the gasoline ones are coming in first. We'll be getting the hybrids coming in later, but I'm sure you've got some questions, so we didn't go through every single detail. Put them in the comments down below, and if you got value from this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can get more information on our website, also on our podcast, and on social media. All the information is down below in the description. We appreciate your support on our Patreon page, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.